Giannis' younger brother Alex just got picked up by the Milwaukee Bucks, and he's being dubbed the worst player in history to sign an NBA contract. Honestly, I think this might be the biggest case of nepotism we've ever seen. We're talking about a player who averaged 1.2 points per game in the Greek league last year. It's not just questionable, it needs to be studied, and that's exactly what I'll do in this video. Also, stick around until the end because I'll tell you about the most talented Antetokounmpo brother who actually should be in the NBA right now. First though, some context. They actually had to cut their two-way player Jamaree Bouya to make space for Alex Antetokounmpo. And Bouya wasn't just some random guy, he actually made headlines a few months ago when he hit an epic game winner in the Summer League.
Liddell all over him, the step over, he gets it up for the win! Booyah with the booyah!
He has actually been regarded as one of the best G League players of the past few seasons. A player who was averaging 18.2 points, 6.2 assists, and 5.1 rebounds in the G League. And replacing him is a player who, when given his shot in the G League, was nowhere near that level. Okay, so what has Alex Antetokounmpo actually done to deserve an NBA contract? Because when you look at his basketball resume, it's shockingly thin. After high school in Wisconsin, he didn't go to college like most prospects. Instead, he went straight to Europe in 2020 to play for Murcia in Spain. That was not in the EuroLeague, not even in the top Spanish division ACB, but instead for their second team. Basically a development team for youth, roughly equivalent to Division 2 or 3 basketball in the US. Not terrible, but nowhere close to the NBA standards. In 2021, he came back to the US and joined the G League, signing with the Raptors 905 and later the Wisconsin Herd. From 2021 to 2024, Alex played 107 G League games and averaged a whopping 5.2 points, 2.9 rebounds, almost a turnover a game with very poor shooting efficiency. In fact, he shot around 36% from the field and just 24 from 3. Just to be clear, this came from a guy whose player profile is supposedly 3-and-D wing. And to put that into perspective, most guys who end up getting even a 10-day contract in the NBA usually put up at least double those numbers in the G League. In the last few years, Alex took a different route and he moved back to Europe. Midway through the 2023-24 season, he signed in the Lithuanian Basketball League with a bottom-tier team. In 13 games there, he put up 8 points, 2.3 rebounds, and managed to get suspended by the team for a week. Next year, he began the season in Montenegro, where he actually had his best scoring performance at 10.5 points. Of course, I should mention he was playing in the second division of the ABA League, where, again, the competition level wasn't high. Finally, last season, Alex transferred to Greece, where he played under 5 minutes a game, and the stat line speaks for itself. 1.2 points, under 21% from the field, and under 17% from 3. But I think we now have to take a break from talking about the bad things and talk about the best in the game, NordVPN. NordVPN lets you change your virtual location in just one click so you can access your content from anywhere. Like when I was working on the research of this video and had to actually find some information and highlights of Alex Antetokounmpo, so I just switched to the Greek server in just one click. It also encrypts your connection, keeping you private and secure from hackers, whether you're on an airport network, at home, or say when I'm working on my videos in a public cafe and using their public Wi-Fi. And with Threat Protection Pro, NordVPN can automatically block malware, ads, and phishing links before they even load so you don't get scammed. Visit nordvpn.com/OutsideTheNBA for a special deal on a 2-year plan with 4 months free. Honestly guys, NordVPN has saved me so much trouble in all these different situations, so go check it out. All the information and links are in the description and pinned comment below. Now, naturally, the question that comes to mind is, why is Alex Antetokounmpo struggling even at the lower levels? And the simple answer probably is athleticism alone doesn't cut it anymore. Sure, he's got the physical frame, 6'8", long arms, good speed, solid leaper, but he's nowhere near as strong as his other brothers. But perhaps Alex's biggest weakness is his lack of a real offensive identity. He's not a shot creator, not a consistent shooter, and not a great decision maker. When he's on the floor, he doesn't really have a defined role. In the G League, he wasn't trusted as a ball handler, and when he played off ball, the defenses just ignored him. Not surprising when your career 3-point percentage is just 23%. Offensively, he's kind of stuck between positions because he's not skilled enough to play on the perimeter and not big and strong enough to play inside. Then Then there's the feel for the game. Basketball instincts are something you either have or you don't, and Alex often looks like he's still trying to figure out where to be. He makes basic mistakes, late rotations on defense, missed box outs, getting caught watching the ball instead of reading the play. And even though he's got all the physical tools to be a switchable defender, he hasn't shown the awareness or discipline to actually use them. In short, there's just no standout skill when it comes to Alex Antetokounmpo. He's not an elite defender, not a rim protector, not a scorer, not a shooter, not a creator. He's just kinda there, which sounds harsh, but that's the truth at the professional level. Even players who don't get NBA contracts often have something they excel at, whether that's shooting, defense, energy, or playmaking. With Alex, it's still unclear what his thing is supposed to be. That's what makes this signing stand out so much. The Bucks clearly aren't betting on his potential. He's already 24 years old and hasn't shown much progress even against lower tier competition. At this stage, most guys his age who make it to the NBA have already shown they can dominate somewhere else. College, G League, or Europe. Alex hasn't done that anywhere. So if it's not talent or production, what exactly got him this deal? Well, the answer is simple, and it's spelled Giannis. The Bucks know exactly what they're doing here. They're trying to keep the most important player in franchise history as happy and loyal as possible. Because when you have someone like Giannis Antetokounmpo who keeps hinting at his uncertain future at Milwaukee, you don't take chances. Giannis also has repeatedly said in the past that his loyalty depends on the team's competitiveness and environment. So while making the Bucks a true contender is something hard to guarantee, bringing his brothers to Milwaukee is something they achieved much easier. And Alex's signing obviously follows the same pattern they used before. They first brought in Thanasis, who's been on the roster for 5 straight seasons now despite barely playing. He has had 7 DMPs for every 1 game played, yet he's always back on a new minimum deal. Everyone in the league knows why. He is Giannis's older brother. And I guess he keeps the locker room light, brings energy, and most importantly gives Giannis someone from home in an otherwise business-first NBA environment. Alex is just an extension of that idea, and I believe now it's more relevant than ever. Recently, Giannis's wife and 4 kids reportedly moved out of the United States to live in Athens, Greece instead. Then there was this interview with Giannis where he admitted he doesn't want to live in America and will return to Europe to retire. So it makes sense that with part of Giannis's family leaving for Europe, they wanted to bring in the other part to keep their franchise cornerstone happy. It's not something unheard of either. The Lakers literally did the same thing with Bronny James. They drafted him not because he's NBA ready, but because it keeps LeBron happy and guarantees he sticks around. But if I'm being honest, Alex's case is even more extreme. Bronny at least has the excuse of potential. He's 21 and he's still got time to improve. Alex, he's 24 and he hasn't dominated at any level he's played in. And that brings us to a somewhat funny part that I mentioned before, and that is that there's a Giannis brother that deserves an NBA roster spot much more than Alex or Thanasis. And that's Kostas Antetokounmpo. Remember him? He's the middle brother drafted by the Mavericks in 2018, then he won a championship ring with the Lakers in 2020. Back then, he was still raw, but scouts genuinely liked his potential. He's 6'10", athletic, long, and way more polished than Alex ever was. And while he didn't exactly turn into an NBA rotation player, he's been working on proving himself in Europe. This summer, Kostas played for Greece in the Eurobasket and actually had a significant role for the bronze medalists. He has developed into a capable defender and a rim runner who can switch, protect the paint, and finish around the rim. Think of him as a poor man's version of what Giannis was early into his career. Lots of energy, good instincts, limited skill, but a clear purpose on the floor. And that's what makes this whole situation even more ironic. If the Bucks really wanted to give Giannis a family reunion, Kostas would have made 10 times more sense basketball-wise. On the other hand, I guess it's never too late to do that and make history with 4 brothers in 1 NBA team. So yeah, calling this nepotism isn't unfair, it's literally what it is. But from the Bucks' perspective, it's not necessarily a bad move. If giving Alex a 2-way deal means keeping Giannis completely happy and locked in mentally, then that's the price any franchise would gladly pay. But what do you think? Is Alex Antetokounmpo the least qualified NBA player ever? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more NBA takes through an overseas lens.